everybody, Jeff aka GCurse here with the second of two black site files from Unsolved Mysteries files, or whatever you want to call it. Today it is currently 4:43 p.m. on the 3rd of April 2023. Oh my god, I can't believe we're already in April. Isn't that weird, you know? Anyway, but as always, before I start, normally I don't really do this in the afternoon, but I thought I would. Let's go to the weather, shall we? I don't think the temperature's actually changed. I think it was 50, if I remember correctly, when I did the morning file from Black Site Unsolved Mysteries. I may be wrong, though. But it's currently 50 and partly cloudy, so let's continue on. Let's see here. I last looked outside. This morning it was actually, was kind of raining and everything, so I looked outside this morning, just before I started recording, and it was actually pretty decent. It was partly cloudy, but the sun was still shining and everything. It was nice. It was nice. It is currently 50 degrees with mostly cloudy. Let's take a quick look at the daily. I'm hoping that we get some more sun because, like I said before, I want some sun. And looks like no sun. But we got sun now, so I'm guessing that you got to kind of look at these and just kind of see it, take it with a grain of salt, basically. Okay. So with that out of the way, let's do this. Today, or this afternoon's Black Site file covers the case of Louis Carlucci. Basically, if you're wanting to know what a piece of shit looks like, this is the guy you're looking for. Not the guy up there. That's me. But yeah. Anyway, Louis Carlucci, he basically was wanted for a major case of bigamy. I think they said he had something like 30 kids. 30 fucking kids. Can you believe that? Holy shit. But we're going to find out more about Louis Carlucci when I return after these commercials.
Sandra will be back after these messages.
Hello, I'm Pee Wee Herman. Ah! I know you are, but what am I?
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
Talking Pee-wee from Matchbox. Cherry sold separately.
I know you are, but what am I?
Every tribe should have one.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great day. It is currently 4:46, and we are getting into the case of Louis Carlucci. Basically, Louis, how you want to pronounce it, was wanted for fraud, grand larceny, and bigamy. He was missing since 1982, and if I remember correctly, he has been apprehended. So let's have a good big hand that the guy's been finally arrested and everything. Let's actually get to that. So if you are new to this series, basically, this is where I have my secretary. Her name is Jasmine. She will read to us the case, and I'll give you my thoughts when, if I feel like saying anything. So I will actually start with the introduction here. His real name is Louis Carlucci. Louis, I'm not sure. His aliases, he had, looks like 4 of them. He had Louis Carl, Louis Rizzo, Louis Martin, and Louis Dorsey. He really liked that name, Louis, didn't he? Wanted for fraud, grand larceny, and bigamy. He was missing since May 13th, 1982. God, I was only, let's see here, I was about 6 months old, if I remember correctly, if my math is correct. But here, yeah, so let's get started, shall we? So I am going to select this portion here, and we will let Miss Jasmine read to us. Jasmine, take it away.
Louis Carlucci is wanted for stealing over $1 million from his many wives. In 1981, when he was 37, he arrived in Forest Hills, a suburb of New York City, carrying nothing but a garment bag with his one good suit in it. In this affluent community, he was a stranger, a man without a past. He found work as a short-order cook in a diner, but no one knew where he came from. In September 1981, Carlucci met a 41-year-old woman, Barbara, in a neighborhood bar in Manhattan. 7 weeks later, they married. What she did not know was that he was a con man. He has made his living by stealing women's hearts and then their money.
Lady, 7 weeks is not long enough to know anybody. I mean, like, hell, I'm a decent person, but if I knew somebody and, 7 weeks later, they're like, hey, do you want to get married? I'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold the brakes. You don't know me that well. It's only been, 35 days? I don't know you that well. It's been 35 days. I think we should wait a little bit longer. Hell, I don't even contemplate on getting married until the 8th week. Anyway. Okay, so let's continue on. And actually it's not 8 weeks. I'm just fucking with you guys. Okay. Okay.
Carlucci is suspected of marrying at least 9 different wives, not divorcing any of them, and fathering over 30 children around the United States since the early 1970s. He is said to have swindled his victims out of more than $1 million. He is known as Con Juan or the Heart Attacker. When Barbara tries to explain what happened to her, people will ask her, "How could you get taken like that?" But she knows that there are hundreds of other women who have been taken in the same way and are supposed to be as smart as her. She thinks it is terrible that Carlucci is still roaming the country and getting away with his crimes. She has agreed to tell her story because she wants to warn other women about him. The police are convinced that he is still perpetrating the same con game or marriage swindle on some unsuspecting woman. Carlucci usually finds his victims in restaurants, friendship clubs, or through dating services. They are usually lonely women looking for companionship. Barbara met him in September 1981 while she was out with a friend at a bar. While she and her friend were sitting at the bar and having a drink, he sent over drinks for them. He then came over and started talking to Barbara. Her first impression of him was that he had no style and no class. However, he was warm and friendly toward her. He also had a good sense of humor. Soon, Carlucci and Barbara started dating. He told her that he grew up in the Bronx, was in the restaurant business, and traveled a lot. He said he wanted to buy his own restaurant and settle down. He told her that he could give her everything that anybody could really want. She thought he was nice, and she liked his company, so she thought, why?
Why not? Why? Why not is what the program failed to actually show us. Why not? So this guy basically knew what he was doing. He was looking for females that were lonely, that probably were down on their luck, that had no real luck when it came to relationships, and he basically pounced on them. The one thing, any woman should look at the guy goes, commitment. That's the thing right there. You could tell a real man from a wannabe if the woman goes, "Will you like a commitment?" Like talk about commitments. A real man will be like, "Sure, yeah, I will fucking be with you to the very end." I'm pretty sure that if you mentioned commitment around Louis Carlucci, he'd probably run out that fucking door. Okay, so apparently, this was 1 month before I was born, so in October of 1981. So let's continue on.
OT? In October 1981, after a whirlwind courtship lasting only 7 weeks, Barbara and Carlucci were married in a small ceremony at the bar where they had first met. Immediately after the wedding, their relationship began to deteriorate. According to her, he kind of jumped on her for talking to other people at the wedding. He apparently had second thoughts about the marriage and became angry about the fact that they were married. Carlucci convinced Barbara to pay for their honeymoon, claiming that his own funds were tied up. Afterward, they moved into an unfurnished apartment in the Bronx, where they lived out of suitcases. He would not let her out of his sight and paid for their living expenses with her credit.
With her credit card. So basically, the guy was a piece of shit, to be honest. Nothing says classy wedding like going and getting married in the bar you met up. Like, holy shit. A lot of guys, or you ask a lot of ladies, where do you want to get married? Some want to say a nice church, maybe like at a park, with a big, setup on the grass. Maybe go out go on the beach. Now, let's go get married at a bar. Yeah, but this guy's a real piece of shit. You could tell that he was the controlling type. If he was getting mad at her for simply talking to the people at the wedding, you could tell that this guy had fucking issues. Real men don't need to attack their woman like that. They should be comfortable enough to let their woman talk to other people. Well, fuck, how would I know? I don't even have a woman, but that's what I would do. I would be the kind of guy that'd be like, hey, if you want to talk to other people, that's fine. I'm not going to get upset. I trust you. A relationship is built on trust. Then again, what do I know? I'm not in a relationship. I guess I just watch too many shows and I have my head filled with a whole bunch of nonsense.
Cards. The change in Carlucci's attitude and personality shocked Barbara. There were times when he was nice, and then, all of a sudden, he would flip. He would be like Jekyll and Hyde. She became scared of his changing personality. He apparently thought she had a lot of money, which was untrue. He became physical with her. She was not allowed to turn her head away from him. If she did, he would pull her hair. If she looked the wrong way, he would smack her. Carlucci did not allow Barbara to talk to anyone other than him. If they were in a restaurant, she was not even allowed to order anything from the server because he believed she would look at the person to signal for help or something. As time passed, he continued to use more of her money. He used her credit cards up to their limit and emptied her bank account. When they went out together, he always used her money. He proceeded to bleed her dry financially. According to Barbara, Carlucci held her captive for about 6 months. He never let her out of his sight. She could not even go to the bathroom without him being there. She had no way of contacting her friends, family, or police to tell them what was going on. One day, she pulled out the razor blade from his razor and planned to cut her wrists. She felt that was the only way she could get out of the situation. However, he discovered her before she could do so. Barbara believes Carlucci knew she was going to die, either by killing herself or by just wasting away. So he decided to let her go because he did not want her to die. On May 13th, 1982, almost 6 months after their wedding, he left her, having squandered all of her saving.
All of her savings, which was $20,000. I know a couple ladies who are the type that if you look at them the wrong way, they'll beat the shit out of you. So I'm pretty, I would love to see what Louis Carlucci would do if he went to a couple of my friends and he grabbed them by their hair. They'd probably turn around and beat the shit out of him. Yeah, you definitely got to remember, this was back in the 70s and 80s when things were different. Nowadays, you can look at a woman the wrong way and she'll gouge your eyes out. So things are different now. Okay, so let's go down. Let's just finish up here. So there we go. You don't want to mess with a woman from today. I swear, you do not want to do that.
$20,000. Encouraged by her friends, Barbara filed grand larceny charges with the police. According to Detective Ken Kleinlein of the New York Police Department, after she contacted them, they started their investigation and began talking to people associated with Carlucci. They spoke to many of his other wives, along with girlfriends and others who were swindled by him. In some cases, Carlucci had convinced the women to invest their life savings in his planned restaurant or a similar business venture. He promised to double or triple their investment. Then, after a few months, he left with their money. In other cases, he convinced them that he was dying of an incurable disease and had only a few months to live. Speaking to the women was eye-opening for Detective Kleinlein. According to him, Carlucci does not just leave physical and financial wreckage behind him. He also leaves psychological scars on his victims. They feel embarrassed and ashamed. They do not want their relatives, friends, and coworkers to know what happened to them. Detective Kleinlein notes that Carlucci travels all over. He has lived in California, Las Vegas, Nevada, New Orleans, Louisiana, Florida, New Jersey, and New York State. He moves around quite often. He is considered a smooth talker who likes to capitalize on other people's weaknesses. He has used several disguises, including a priest, a Canadian Mountie, a pirate, a gangster, and even Attila the Hun.
What?
He is wanted for bigamy, grand larceny, and fraud. Detective Kleinlein would be surprised if Carlucci is not currently with a woman. He believes that Carlucci deals with between 10 and 15 women a year at the very least. He does not believe Carlucci will stop what he is doing, as that is how he makes his living. Barbara would like to see Carlucci get caught. She says he does not belong in society. She does not know if he will hurt anyone else physically, but she is certain that he needs to be taken off the streets before he victimizes
Another woman. Okay, all serious put aside, okay, I like this. His disguise is included a priest, a Canadian Mountie, a pirate. What the fuck, a pirate? What is he doing? Walking around looking like Jack Sparrow? A gangster, and even Attila that. Oh my god, what the fuck? Okay. So we will do. Okay, I'll do this upcoming part. The extra notes. The case first aired on the May 18th, 1988 special number 7 episode of Unsolved Mysteries. It was updated on the October 5th, 1988, March 15th, 1989, and November 1st, 1980. Holy shit, you think they had enough updates? They were really going after this guy. Holy shit. By the way, the November 1st, I was just about to turn 7 years old, actually. Episodes detailing his initial arrest, subsequent escape. He escaped? Well, because he dressed like a pirate. Pirates always escape. And rearrest, respectively. It was later reprofiled on the Dennis Farina hosted series on the November 4th, 2008 episode and November 19th, 2008 episodes. Barbara was the only one of Carlucci's victims who would agree to be interviewed. She asked not to be identified on camera. At one time, she feared reprisals from Carlucci. Carlucci has dubious distinction of being captured twice thanks to viewers' tips. He's not really that smart now, is he? Some sources say Carlucci married between 10 and 35 women. He fathered at least 35 children and listed one of his aliases as Louis Serra. Guy's a real piece of shit if you ask me. Okay, I'm just going to let Jasmine read the rest of this. There we go. Okay, read aloud. There we go.
Captured. On the night of the original broadcast, several viewers in Nashville, Tennessee, called the FBI and identified Carlucci as a local restaurant manager, Louis Serra. The next day, May 19th, 1988, the police arrested him at his home, where he was living with a new wife who was pregnant. Interestingly, he lived less than a block from the police station. After his arrest, he told the police that he had watched the show in the past but missed it that night because he was attending a party. Patricia Craw, a viewer in Los Angeles, California, also called in and told the police that she, too, was one of Carlucci's victims. While she did not marry him, she claimed she was swindled out of $65,000. She believed many other victims had not come forward. She hoped that the other victims would contact the police so that they could build a stronger case against him. District Attorney John Santucci noted that the problem with Carlucci's case was that his victims were embarrassed. He noted that no one likes to admit that they were taken for money or love. On August 25th, Carlucci was extradited to New York to face charges of bigamy, grand larceny, coercion, unlawful imprisonment, and fraud. At his arraignment, he pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Of course he
He
did.
was later released after posting $1,000 in cash as bail. In February 1989, he failed to show up for 2 different court dates, and a warrant was activated for his rearrest. Authorities believed he was heading west in an attempt to reunite with his current wife. Shortly after the repeat broadcast on July 19, 1989, a viewer recognized Carlucci as a man living in a garage in East Los Angeles. The police discovered that Carlucci's girlfriend and mother of one of his children was living nearby. On August 15th, after staking out her house for 2 days, the police located and arrested him without incident.
Of course he fled. He's a criminal.
In September 1989, Carlucci pleaded guilty to the charges against him. He received a 2 to 6 year prison sentence. In July 1991, after serving 2 years, he was released on parole. 2 months later, he left New York without permission, violating his parole. He moved to Nevada and began a relationship with Roxane Crane. In 1992, she called her friends and relatives and told them that she had married Carlucci and that he was dying of cancer. She said they needed money for medical expenses and because she had to care for him full-time. Some of Crane's friends and relatives in Nebraska agreed to help the couple and gave them money. As it turned out, she and Carlucci were not married, and he did not have cancer. They instead used the money for themselves. In July 1993, they were arrested on wire fraud charges. He was returned to New York, where he served 10 months in prison for parole violations. In May 1994, Carlucci was brought to Nebraska to face the wire fraud charges. The charges against Crane were later dropped. In October, he pleaded guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. The other charges were dropped as a result of the plea deal. In February 1995, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison and ordered to pay back almost $60,000. In January 2001, he was released from federal prison. According to one of his biological sons, Carlucci passed away in.
It says that he passed away in 2005, at which I gotta say, good riddance. The guy, apparently he was not a good person. He basically fucked over a lot of people. You know, he fucked over a lot of people. He brought numerous kids into the world that probably never even knew who their father was. The guy was definition of scum. Okay, and I don't think I see anything else here, so that was the case of Louis Carlucci. Thank you, Jasmine. I just want to say it's been nice having her around. We will see her for the next episode of Black Site Files from Unsolved Mysteries. But yeah, it's pretty sad that there are people in the world who is like that. You know, like I know people who, when I was growing up, who never knew their dad. And there's numerous reasons why. Some could have been, some could have passed away. Some were drug addicts and everything. But you literally had a guy who's just creating kids, and by the sounds of it, he didn't want to stick around to even get to know them, which is kind of sad. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. When I return, it will be with my final thoughts, so stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Little Hershey's Kisses have big, big chocolate. Little Hershey's Kisses have big, big chocolate. Little kisses have big chocolate. You're gonna love. You can love them by the handful. You can love them one by one. Tiny little kisses have big, big chocolate fun. Little Hershey's Kisses have big, big chocolate. Little kisses have big chocolate. You're gonna love.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. It is time for my final thoughts, and overall, I am glad that this guy was apprehended, although I don't like the fact that he was able to pay a measly $1,000 to get on bail, because we all know that he was going to flee. criminals are a cowardly bunch. They do not want to stay and face the music. So if the guy thinks he can pay $1,000 and then flee, that's what he's going to do. But other than that, the real victims here are the children. And then to a lesser extent, the people that he conned, because they should have honestly known a lot better than to basically try and get married after 7 fucking weeks. But people are desperate, I guess. I don't know. I've never been in that position. But yeah, so hopefully that his children are going to be able to adapt without having their father, and that's about it, I guess. There wasn't really much left for me to say about this. I'm just glad that, things have been dealt with. And if he did die, good. Good. He should not be out there constantly ruining people's lives. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Black Site Files of Unsolved Mysteries. This actually marks the end of episode 3, if I remember correctly. So, tomorrow when I go to resume, let's see here. It will be, I'm looking it up. I think it'll be first case of episode 4, which will be covering the case of Joe Shepard. So I will see you all in the AM tomorrow for the case of Joe Shepard. My name is Jeff, aka GCurse, wishing you all a great day and stay safe, everybody. Peace out.